January marks the start of a new year and with it, new possibilities. With the rising popularity of nano and micro influencers, you may be asking yourself if you have what it takes to start a side hustle and become an influencer. To answer this and also give us some tips on how to make social media work for us in 2023, we're now joined via Zoom by Pieter Groenewald, the CEO of South African influencer marketing group Infinity. Pieter, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Superior, and good morning to your viewers as well.
Let's now start with you giving us a description of what an influencer is.
The reality is things have changed a little bit. I think every person out there today is, in fact, an influencer. We're all influential in some way or other. The significance of the people that we influence might differ from depending on what type of influencer you are.
Yeah.
It really goes back, if you think word of mouth was one of the strongest forms of marketing that's ever existed. And influence and social media just allows every person out there now to be able to influence people in a digital form and at once reach a lot of people where word of mouth was very limited to the amount of people that you interact with historically.
And what would you say makes one to be considered an influencer?
I mean, as there's people out there, if you look at like your celebrities and them, they, because of the huge access to audience channels that they have, they're the traditional influencers. But then what you find is that as the influencer sector was growing, there was a need to open up more influencer categories. Your micro influencers are someone that got smaller audiences, but are very knowledgeable about a specific topic. And there it can vary. You might have 500 people or 1,000 or 2,000 people, and you're very influential in that community. And then nano influencers, and these are the people that we encourage from a side hustling perspective to get involved. These are ordinary people, everyday people out there. But brands do want to engage them for influencer work. Because the reality is on everyday people, brands can connect to their existing fans. And what that allows them is in the digital world for very authentic social conversations around brands. And that's for me, a nano influencer is just an ordinary person that doesn't even see himself as an influencer.
You know, Pieter, nowadays there's this thing of selling an account or selling a social media profile. Say, for instance, I've got 1,000 followers on social media and then I buy a profile or an account from an influencer or somebody else with a huge following. Then the next morning I have like 1 million followers. Would that make me an influencer?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, the technology platforms that we use, we can actually pick up that sort of thing. There was a stage where people had like fake followers and fraudulent followers and stuff like that. But as in the influencer world, we as businesses that connect influencers to brands, we use very sophisticated technology. And that sort of thing will be picked up because you don't really want a brand to pay someone for access to a fake audience. And as a result, you know, you won't get far with that sort of thing.
Yes. And what would you say is the major social media hack that mega influencers take advantage of, that nano or micro influencers must start getting into?
Yeah, I think as I was thinking about this, as where the world is definitely moving is that influencers will start moving product. And your big influencers is already doing it. Whereby directly from the profile, your followers will be able to acquire products that you've promoted or talked about. And I think that the tools are being made available and is currently already deployed, where even a micro and a nano influencer, if their audience like the product or trust what they're saying around a product, you will have the ability then to order the product. And that will allow you to earn on actual sales as well. And that's something that will definitely grow over the next couple of years.
Let's now get into some of the key tips and tools that you share in your article to help influencers make social media work for them.
So the first thing is you need to start engaging your audience. If you think about it, 1% of people on social media create content, 9% engage with the content, and 90% only observe the content. So what you need to do is you need to set yourself out to become part of the 1% by regularly creating content. Try and create very authentic content that's true to yourself and engage your audience. Second thing is, as the content, is if you just need to start experimenting with different type of contents as well to see what is working for your audience. And the other thing is protect your brand. It's like your social profile on social media becomes your brand. So make sure that you protect it and look after it, because it's very valuable for you in the long run. Mm-hmm. And then also test different platforms, perhaps. You might be on Instagram, but your type of content might suit a channel like TikTok better, or maybe Twitter, because you're a very conversational type of individual. Okay. Mm. And then the other thing is, in order to be linked to brands, you have to go and register on platforms that can link you to brands. It's gone far beyond the manual process, and a lot of technology plays a role in it. But there's plenty of influencer platforms out there that you can go and register yourself on.
And for someone that is thinking of becoming a nano or micro social media influencer, what is that one key tip that you always share with such a person of how to start? So,
like I say, you must start creating content, but a big word for us in the industry is authenticity. Be real, be true. Don't say something around a product if you don't believe it. And try and stick to the stuff that you're very knowledgeable about. So choose a topic or two that this is what I'm about, and then start creating content around those specific topics and etc.
All right, Peter, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing those tips with us.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Joining us there via Zoom is CEO of Infinity, Peter Groenewald, speaking to us about how we can make social media work for us this year.